Why don't we just start and then I'll introduce you if you're here, that's fine. I'm Steve Hawley. Proud to be here today. I've been the Assemblyman for a year or two. I am a veteran, proud veteran. I also have been the ranking member on the Veterans Affairs Committee in the State Assembly, and I've been on that committee for 15 years. Every year, as many of you know, we do a Patriot trip to Washington, D.C. with over 100 veterans and their family members to see the monuments that are erected for them because of their service to our great country. Every year for the past number of years, Governor Cuomo has cut from his budget. Can I take this off for a second? Has cut from his budget an extremely important part for those of us that have served this country of the budget. He has cut every year something called the Private Joseph P. Dwyer peer-to-peer program. This program helps veterans one-on-one, veteran to veteran, after they have come back from serving their country. Many of them have suffered post-traumatic stress syndrome after serving. And Private Joseph P. Dwyer was from Suffolk County. It's named after him because of what occurred to him after his service, as I said. Dwyer was an Army medic in the 3rd Battalion, 7th Cavalry Regiment, and was famously shown in an iconic Military Times photo carrying a 4-year-old Iraqi boy to safety during a raging battle in the early months of the war. While in Iraq, his unit was engaged in nearly daily gun battles over the next 3 weeks. Private Dwyer was unable to assimilate back into society after what he saw while serving in combat. This program, as I said, is named after him. There are 23 counties in New York State now that are served by this program, and Genesee, Orleans, and Wyoming County share $185,000 to help veterans in their day-to-day lives after serving. The total for the state is $5 million. Both the Senate Republicans and the Assembly Republicans fought tooth and nail to get this put into a budget. The total is $5 million, as I said, for the state of New York. The budget this year went from $178 billion for the state to $212 billion. All of us during this pandemic, and even without it, have had to tighten our budgets because of the economy, not the state of New York. That $212 billion budget is only a few billion dollars behind California. California has 40 million people that reside in that state. We have 19 million. Florida and Texas combined have budgets that are lower than New York State. And each of those states has more people that reside in it. So this was a budget that was fully funded for illegal immigrants, $2.1 billion for illegal immigrants for unemployment because they didn't qualify federally. That's part of what went into this budget. More taxes, more fees, mandates, and this is a bright spot within the budget, and I'm proud that Senator Rath and I were able to get that into the final budget for our veterans.
It is my honor to stand here today and to be a part of the success of restoring this critical money for the Joseph P. Dwyer peer-to-peer program. And it is, to me, something that is absolutely mission critical that we do in state government, which is to provide the resources and the services necessary to protect our veterans and to protect everyone in our communities. And our commitment to the members of our military does not end when they return home. In fact, I believe our commitment is that much more increased when they return home. And the Joseph P. Dwyer program is one that provides emotional and social support, peer-to-peer support for our veterans. Many of them, as you said, confronted with PTSD or other challenges. And what we need to be doing as a government is having our priorities straight. And 2 months ago, I was in Monroe County when the governor was threatening to cut this program. and I was at a press conference, and everyone was advocating very aggressively for the full restoration of this money so that we can continue to provide the core services that are necessary to support our veterans. And Western New York Heroes, thank you so much for your leadership, Chris and Lynn. Over the years, we've talked when I was a county legislator. Now we're talking as a state senator. My commitment is always to you all and to supporting you and the great programs and services that you provide across Western New York. I will tell you that the continuation of the support of the peer-to-peer program, the Joseph P. Dwyer program, is something that us Republicans prioritized immediately when we saw the governor's budget for 2022, this upcoming fiscal year. And it's a shame that this governor plays games with programs like the Joseph P. Dwyer program, like aid to municipalities, like so many other aspects of this budget. They certainly found money for undocumented residents, $2.1 billion, but they didn't find money for our veterans. And to give you an idea of the scale, the money that's going to undocumented residents in this state budget is $2.1 billion. $5 million for our veterans. That's 420 more times the amount of money that's going to undocumented residents and not to our veterans. That is a misguided priority. And this budget was filled with misguided priorities. Assemblyman Hawley had talked about the scale of this budget, up nearly 10% year over year. Nowhere even close to the tax cap that many of our municipalities and school districts work within at 2%. That is runaway spending. And it's runaway spending at a time in which we are trying to tighten our belts and we are trying to do more with less as we are emerging from COVID. So to me, I'm very happy this money is restored. Frankly, I'm disappointed that there isn't more money for our Joseph P. Dwyer program, because in talking with you, Lynn, and talking with you, Chris, in the past, you said there's a tremendous demand for this peer-to-peer program and these peer-to-peer services. And it is an emotional and a social lifeline for our veterans. So I'm very happy this money is restored. I'm going to continue to advocate for New York State to get its fiscal head on straight. Right now, spending $212 billion on this budget, as was mentioned before, is more than Florida and Texas combined, and they have twice the residents. There's not chaos in the streets in Florida and Texas. In fact, people are very happy, and they are re-emerging from COVID in many ways better than we are. It's also a point to make that this governor and his executive order control and his autonomous control in New York State needs to end. He has lost the capacity to lead our state, and the state Senate and the state Assembly need to be at the table finding solutions and advocating for our residents. This is an example of our successful advocacy. Hopefully there's much more to come once the governor has resigned from his position as governor, because I think he has lost the capacity to lead New York State. So with that, once again, this is a success that we had with this budget. We will continue to fight for the Dwyer program, and I want to thank all of our veterans once again for their tremendous, selfless service to our country. Thank you.
Again, as a veteran, I'm appreciative that this money was restored to the state budget, and I'd like to thank Assemblyman Hawley and Senator Rath for fighting for these funds, and I wish it was more also. You know, we cannot forget our veterans and what they did and their sacrifices they made over the years while fighting for this country, and they deserve this funding. Not only need, but they deserve this funding. And I truly appreciate everything everybody's done to keep this money in the budget. And I'd like to also thank Bill Joyce, our Veteran Services Officer, and his staff for what they do for the veterans of this county and also within the region. I know other counties have reached out to you for your expertise and assistance, and I'm sure they appreciate that, and we appreciate all you've done. So again, on behalf of the Justice County Legislature, I thank everyone in this room for what they've done for the veterans of this country. So thank you.
Thanks. Next has been mentioned, Chris Krieger, Western New York Heroes. He's going to say a few words. They run the program here in Genesee County. Each county of the 23 is allowed to figure out how they're going to operate the program. Some veteran services agencies actually run the program, like in Orleans County. But here in Genesee County, we're in capable, good hands with Chris and Western New York Heroes. So, Chris, come on up, my friend.
On behalf of Western New York Heroes, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for believing in us. I know in 2018, when Bill had first reached out to us to come in and talk, we had no idea that we were going to be asked or considered to take on this program that, as we all know, is very much needed not just throughout the state, but throughout our nation for veterans. We were honored, and we have a commitment just as much as our legislators, just as much as the county and the veterans in the county. Our commitment to all of you is that we will continue to push for veterans and do and provide the services that these veterans need in Genesee County. And basically all 12 counties. We service all 12 counties, but for here, Genesee County, the Dwyer focused on veterans in Genesee County, and we will continue to do what we have to do to make sure our veterans are getting through day by day.
So I'd really like to reiterate what everybody's been saying. Thank you to Mr. Joyce, who has been a huge advocate for us. The partnership that we have is tremendous. He is probably one of our #1 cheerleaders in this program and throughout all of our other programs with any financial assistance or service dog program or any other programs that we have for that matter. He has been tremendous guidance for us. We do have an office here now with one of our amazing volunteers who is here twice a week and able to serve more veterans here, right here in Genesee County, instead of them traveling to our office or navigating the new systems that we have in place, which some people don't have that electronic ability. So we're grateful for that. We're grateful for all the programs that we were able to continue to do, even with COVID not on our side. But we're still making sure to keep that peer-to-peer contact, which is more needed than ever, especially for our veterans who are shut-ins and are not getting out into the community and need that peer-to-peer contact, whether it be via Zoom or now slowly opening the opportunity to have in-person events as well. So thank you to Bill, thank you to everybody here. We really appreciate this. And it is my promise to all of you that every single penny is being used towards the veterans and not towards our services and programs. We're not using it to purchase vehicles, equipment, or anything, because we are fortunate enough to have a lot of that stuff already in-house through Western New York Heroes. But 100% of our dollars are going towards the veterans, and we're making sure to do every ounce of outreach that we can possibly do in this community. So thank you for letting us do that.